started. Professionalism. Don't read directly from the slide, kind of put it into your own words. Read this information, process it. What does professionalism mean to you? What do you think professionalism means to you? Yes, ma'am.
Your conduct.
Okay, so how you conduct yourself. Good. How you conduct yourself.
Overall appearance.
Sorry, I said
Overall appearance.
overall appearance, absolutely. So your attire, your grooming, your facial expressions, your body language. Am I slumped over or do I have posture? So what is your posture saying? If you are someone who sits there with your arms crossed, that's a very closed off kind of signal as far as nonverbal communication. And so somebody at the front desk of a hotel should not be sitting there like this. When somebody walks up to your table at a restaurant, if your server walks up to you like this, what would you think?
Got an attitude.
Oh my gosh, I got an attitude. This is not going to be a great service. I hope the food's better than the service. Whatever you're thinking in that time period, okay? What else about professionalism? Yes, ma'am.
Never have your hands in your pocket.
Good. Never have your hands in your pockets. I'm probably guilty of doing that. Sometimes I like to put my hand in my pocket, let my jacket just like hang like right here, look all stylish. You never know when someone's gonna take a picture of you. I'm out networking. I'm like, there's a whole bunch of cameras out here. You never know. Just make sure you're on my good side, please. All right. What else?
Maintaining eye contact.
Good. Maintaining eye contact. Absolutely. So all these things go to professionalism. The video that you're going to watch about business attire talks about executive presence, and all of those things tie into that executive presence, okay? Our industry is really unique, hospitality. We are a business industry, but not only do we work with our coworkers, like a lot of people in corporate America have coworkers, but we also get to work with our guests, okay? And I say guests instead of customers. I know a lot of times the word customer is used. When I worked at Cheesecake Factory, that's when I learned to use the word guest instead of customers. So if I walk up to a table of customers, how am I going to treat them differently than if I walked up to a table of guests?
Guess you want them to stay. Customer, you're trying to get them out as quick as
Good,
possible.
right? It's transactional. What would you like to eat? Here's your food. Get out of my booth. Let's get the next people in here. Right? That's those customers. Then you have those guests. You want to make them feel comfortable. You want them to come back. Have a great experience. Make them feel like family. Make them feel comfortable. Right? And so just that one perspective at Cheesecake Factory made me, I went from TGI Fridays to Cheesecake Factory. And man, at 20 years old, I made it. My career was done. Like I'm going to retire at Cheesecake Factory. I'm at the Cheesecake Factory. 1 month and 10 pounds later, I was designated trainer for the store. And let me kind of go back just a little bit real quick. My industry background, I started at Chester's Hamburgers. That was my high school job. Chester's Hamburgers, so good.
Never had it.
Right? And then I wanted to wait tables. I learned every position except for manager. And I have some friends that are still managers at Chester's that were managers when I left back in 2003. So, I mean, good company, right? And so there was no way for me to move up. I was like, I want to wait tables. So where did I go? Denny's and IHOP. Both of them, do you know what they said to me? You don't have any experience waiting tables, so we can't hire you as a server.
Yeah.
I said, no, but I'm going to work your midnight shift, like a graveyard shift. I'll work that just to get experience. I'm so sorry. So I went to TGI Fridays. The TGI Fridays was opening a store in the Forum. It's now Verizon Wireless. But I went there and I went into the construction trailer and they did the interview and they said, yes, we're going to train you at our I-10 Days of Allah store, which is now Twin Peaks. But we're going to train you there. And then when this store opens, we're going to bring you over here. So that way you're ready to go. So a few months later, I walk into my TGI Fridays at the Forum. The corporate trainers. Does anybody not know what a corporate trainer is? Awesome. So corporate trainer is this really cool job, especially in the restaurant industry, where your job is to go and open new restaurants. And so you come in, you work for the corporate office, and then you go to San Antonio and you open that restaurant. You're there for 6 to 8 weeks. Once that team is done, they've got everything running smoothly. You go home, and then, oh, by the way, we're going to open a restaurant in Oklahoma City. So you go to Oklahoma City for 6 to 8 weeks. You live in a hotel and you train that new team, and you just go all throughout the country doing that. That's a pretty awesome job. If you like to travel, you get to see some really cool places. So our corporate trainers for TGI Fridays turned the store over to me and my friend Christy as the lead trainers of the store. So of course I wanted to go back to IHOP and Denny's and be like, suckers, you missed out. I'm a lead trainer. But of course I'm professional, so I would never do that. I just say it in my head.
Just got
Right?
right and say right in your
8 months later, I moved to the Cheesecake Factory. That's when I was like, I've made it. My career is set. I am at the Cheesecake Factory, right? So we all have different perspectives at different ages, but we work with those. Other thing I learned at Cheesecake Factory is we never point. So I had a guest one time ask me where the restroom was, and I said it was right over there behind the trees. Now there was like 2 trees by the archway for the restrooms. I didn't tell him to go like to the bathroom behind the trees, but I was like, they're right over there by behind the trees. And my trainer came over. She's like, David, all nice and soft and sweet. She's like, we never point. We use our whole hand. And I was like, what? But now that is so ingrained in me that if somebody asks me a question, I'm like, oh, it's right down the hall. Chef Chris will make fun of me sometimes. She's like, yes, it's right this way. And I'm like, hey, it's just like, that's just something that is just natural to me. And that's part of that executive presence. It's just ingrained into me. I don't think about it. Oh yeah, it's right over this way. It's just one of those things those little things that you pick up along the way. All those things that you learn are going to help you build and be more professional. So our values, what types of things do people value? It depends. So like what examples? Family, good.
Integrity.
So sometimes people value their integrity, or they value the integrity of other people. Very good. Anything else? Money, of course.
Professionalism.
So okay, good. Yeah, that's some people, if they're hiring for a position, they're going to value professionalism. So think about yourself as an individual. What are things that you value? Your time, good. Now our industry is notorious. I mean, when people are on holidays, we're in the hotels working. When they're going out to eat, and holidays and weekends, we're in the ones working. We're the ones there, right? And so valuing your time is great, but understanding how you balance that work life. Okay, how do you balance that so that you can still value your time? Anything else? No? Okay, cool. So think about the values, because that's going to shape what your idea of success is. If your idea of success is having a condo on the Riverwalk and being able to afford to live downtown on the Riverwalk and pay so much money, then you probably need to value. That's what you value. Then the things that you do are going to lead up to that. You need to find a job that allows you to do that, to live that lifestyle. Okay. If your idea is family, then you want to make sure, if your value is family, then you want to make sure that you're keeping that balance of work-life balance in check. Okay. Personality. Let's see, we have 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, plus 3 is 18, plus 3 is 21, plus 3 is 24, 25. We got 25 people in this room. Chances are we have 25 different personalities. Okay, maybe even more. Okay, some of us might have multiple. Okay, so with those personalities comes challenges. How many of you ever worked in a group where your personalities just clash, whether it's at work or school or whatever? You're just like, I hate you. We never get any work done, right? So the personalities shape how we act and interact with other people. So we're going to do an activity real quick. It's called a color personality test. Okay, I'm going to pass out this form in just a moment. I'm going to pause the video for a second so we don't waste time on the film, and I'm going to pass out these forms as soon as I find them. They might even be in here. Yep. Oh, dang it, I'm sorry. It's not very professional because some of them got creased. I should have put them in a folder. I am going to collect your professional attire slips. Again, I'm not going to take them for a grade today. Unless you are dressed professionally, I will give you credit for that just because it'll give you just a little bit extra bump in your grade. But if you don't, if you're not dressed professionally, I'm not gonna put that grade in the grade book. Okay?
I was thinking of a turtleneck.
Turtleneck is fine. Yep. All right. So, everyone look at me real quick. So up here, this is row 1. You are going to take the group of words that are in that block, and I want you to pick out which ones describe you the most. So it's easiest to discover which ones are the most like you, which ones are the least like you, right? The most and the least. You can identify that pretty quickly. So I want you to identify and put a 4 in the group that describes you the most. Don't worry about the little individual words. Just kind of get a sense of what all those words mean, and put a number 4 in the group, the little square that describes you the most. And then put a 1 in the one that describes you the least. Okay? The 2 remaining squares, wherever they may be, you have to decide, is it a 3 or is it a 2? Okay? So it's easiest to get that first, that highest and the lowest, and then the middle ones you describe which one is a 3, which one is a 2. We have 5 rows. So you got to go through each of the 5 rows, do the same thing, 1 through 4 in each of the 5 rows. You cannot duplicate a number in the same row. You have to do 1, 2, 3, or 4 in the same row. Okay? So go ahead and do that now. This class ends at 5:40, correct? Okay, just want to make sure I'm doing okay on time. Oh, I forgot to hit pause. You have recorded all of that lecture. You're going to see these 4 colored squares: orange, green, blue, and gold. In the orange one, you see we have letter A, H, K, and S. I want you to do those corresponding letter boxes and add up all the scores in those boxes and put that total score right here. And then the green ones is D, E, L, P, and Q. Okay, and add up all those. Like, see how the letters are here in the squares? Add up all of those and put that one in there. The same thing with the blue and same thing with the gold. I recommend you put a little check mark inside the box once you've added it. That way you can look at your final score sheet and be like, okay, yeah, I got all of the squares. I want to make sure you calculate all the squares. All right, so once you have calculated everything, you've added everything up, in these squares down here, if you have a number that's less than 5 or greater than 20, and you've done something wrong, we need to redo it, okay? But one of these colors should emerge as a predominant color, predominant number, okay? You might have some that are relatively close to each other. You may even have a tie in some colors, but you're going to have one that is pretty much your dominant color, okay? Yes, sir.
Shouldn't that be 25 rather than 20?
No, because it's 4 points, and 4 times 5 is 20. All right, you had me thinking for a moment. All right, so where are my blues at? If you're blue, stand up. Okay, blue people, we make our decisions based on emotions. Okay, we make our decisions based on emotions. We make our decision based on other people's emotions. How is this going to make this person feel if I do this? Okay, now this is not an exact science, this is just kind of a general overview. And you'll notice that you have traits from each color category, but again, one is more predominant. Okay, all right, so where are my oranges at? Awesome. Oranges, you're the ones who kind of like a little bit of chaos. You like things to change. You don't want to just do things the way they've always been done, just because the way they've always been done. You want to change things up a little bit, okay? You also are a little bit more impulsive. You little bit at your decision making and things like that, okay? Where are my greens at? Okay, stand up. Yep, stand up, greens. All right, so the students that I do know, this kind of makes sense a little bit. You are thoughtful. You are focused. You take time to analyze all the potential options, and then you make your decision. Okay? Does that sound like some of y'all?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Where are my golds at? Golds. Okay, y'all are sticklers for the rules. You got to stick to the rules. You're organized. Okay? You're responsible. And so these are great qualities to have. Okay, okay, go ahead and have a seat, thank you. My personal order is blue, orange, green, gold. That's my personal order. I am blue through and through, okay? I am all about emotions. I want to make sure everybody's having a good time, but very close behind that, I'm super competitive. I even tell random strangers I play laser tag with, I'm like, look, this is how we're gonna win. Someone runs away from you, you shoot them in the back. That's extra points. Just shoot that target in the back the whole time, especially if they're little kids. I know, I get real competitive. It's not a good side of me, but that's just the way I am, okay? Because that's just part of my personality. I am very competitive. When I was a student at A&M San Antonio, my professor learned to never let me go first in a group or in a presentation. She's like, you always scare the hell out of everybody and you intimidate them. And I'm like, good, got to raise the bar. I want to be that, I want to set that standard. So that's my personality. I am not very organized. Okay, that is probably my least number. And so think about this as you're thinking about how people work together. If an orange is impulsive, and they're like, let's make this decision now, and a green is analyzing every little detail and taking their time, from the orange's perspective, this person's not doing their work. They're not participating. But really what they're doing is they're processing in their mind, how are they going to make this decision? So the oranges might get upset with the greens. And the blues are going to be like, come on guys, let's all just get together, let's all get along, it's okay, we're going to be a big group. And the golds are like, this is not the rules. This is not how we decided we were going to do this. Okay, so we want to make sure that the teams are working together efficiently, whether it's at work, whether it's at home, whether it's anywhere. I will post this on Canvas, so if you want to print out a copy of it and give it to your family or friends or coworkers and be like, yeah, this is why we don't get along, because I'm an orange and you're a green. You take too long to make decisions. Okay, so this kind of brings to light, the first time I did something like this, it was the Myers-Briggs, which is another personality test. They had 16 different types of personalities. Yeah, the ENFP, that's mine. But this one only has 4, so that's kind of why I chose that. It's a little bit easier to understand. But think about that. As you have all these personalities coming together, we want to make sure that everybody has puts forth an equal effort in the group projects and things like that. All right, so can you think about a team member or a coworker that you really admire? Yeah. Why do you admire them? What are some traits or some qualities about them that you admire?
Their skill.
Okay, their skills, their ability to actually do the task. And where does that come from? Their past experience. Good. Their commitment. Independent. Sorry, they're independent. They can work by themselves. They don't have to be micromanaged. They don't want to be micromanaged. Do you all know? Does anybody not know what micromanaged means? Where your manager is like over your shoulder, like, no, now you want to push that button. Now you push that button. It's like, get away from me. Okay? I don't need that. Sally needs it, but not me. Okay? Go talk to Sally. Oh, there's no Sallys in this class. Okay? So we want to make sure we're fostering those relationships. Shadow them. Ask them to be a mentor. If you are in that, if they're in a leadership position above you, start learning about what their job is. Okay? You want to make sure that you are always learning. We always learn in every situation. Even if we learn what not to do, we're still learning. So think about a situation where maybe a manager is out yelling at another employee and you think, wow, that person probably feels really bad right now. I never want to make someone feel that way. So as a manager, you know when you get to that level, you're going to say, hey, you know what? Let's take this conversation over here in my office and let's talk about this for a moment. Now, granted, sometimes you can't do that. Sometimes it's the heat of the moment. Sally's getting ready to drop a pot of boiling water on her foot, and the manager's got to get on her, okay? But you have to be able to assess that situation and be able to understand how we're going to handle that. Okay, we got 10 minutes, and we're going to get through the next few slides in 10 minutes. Attitude. Attitude makes all the difference. If you're serving customers or if you're serving guests, you have a different attitude. Okay? If you walk up to somebody and if you're having negative posture and you're like slumped over, you're having these negative body language, they're going to react differently. Your attitude is so important. I know that life is not sunshine and rainbows all the time. I know that life gets pretty heavy and pretty bogged down sometimes, but I always try to look at the positive side of everything. Okay? Like, it sucks being at work sometimes. Sorry, that's probably not really professional language. It is awful being at work sometimes. You don't want to be at work. But guess what? The guest doesn't care. They don't care that you don't feel like being at work. They still want their chicken fried steak, and they want it served with a smile. They still want their hotel room. They want you to handle their issues. There's hair on the bathroom floor. Well, how would you feel if you walked into your hotel and had hair on the bathroom floor? They want you to handle that situation in that way. Okay? Our industry is tough. We are on. When you walk through that door, boom. I love it when I have a couple of hotels, they have like on the back of the door that go from the back of the house to the front of the house, it's like, smile, you're on stage. It's a performance. Yeah. Sometimes you got to fake it till you make it. And that's part of that attitude. Okay? If we have that negative attitude, it's going to reflect on our guests. Did I tell you about the story about Cheesecake Factory, the lady with the dolphins?
No.
Okay. Whew. So I realized that, sometimes you can be like really chummy with your guests and joke around. This lady was like, I walked up, I said, hi, my name is David. I'll be your server today. Our fresh seafood of the day is mahi-mahi and pecan-crusted catfish. What would you like to drink? She's like, well, isn't mahi-mahi dolphin? And I said, well, no, I think it's called the dolphin fish, but I don't think it's actual dolphin. I was like, what can I get you to drink? So I could take their drink order, I come back, I deliver their drinks, and they put their bread basket down. And then she said, well, how fresh is your mahi-mahi? That's a valid question. We live in San Antonio. We're not close to the ocean, that close. I said, well, our dolphin tank's out back, so just give us a few minutes. She did not react so well to that. She called my manager over. I got in trouble. He's like, David, that's the day I learned you can't joke with your guests like you can joke with your friends. Sometimes I was like, I'm sorry, I thought we were on that level, but I guess we're not on that level. But I could have let that affect my personality for that day or my attitude for that day. I could have been like, oh man, I just got in trouble. I just got yelled at. I walk over to my next guest. Hi, I'm David. What do you want to drink? And that ruins their experience. Yeah. So at the front desk of a hotel, as a server, someone's yelling at you. They're not yelling at you as an individual. They're yelling at the situation. And that's one of the hardest things to separate. But don't take it personally. You know what? One and done. Just move on. One of my old bosses, or sorry, I should say former bosses, she's like, baby, just brush it off. Just brush it off. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, just brush it off. Just move on. And it took me the longest time to get used to that. But there would be one time where things were going crazy. I look over and she'd just be like, I'm like, okay, I can do that. Okay, yeah, just chill. Just chill. We got this. Self-concept, self-image, self-efficacy, and projection. Where does all this have to do? This has to do with your brand. Okay? What is your brand? What is a brand? Can you name a brand? Nike. Oh my gosh, that's the first one that everyone always says.
First biggest brand you can think of.
Right. That's good brand recognition for Nike. Anybody else? Coke, Disney, Hulu, Netflix, Gatorade, McDonald's. You know, I had a high school teacher, history teacher, and he said one of these days they're going to remove that hundred or billions and billions served and then just have the golden arches. They're going to remove McDonald's from their logo because everyone's going to know what the golden arches mean. And I was like, yeah, right, whatever. What do you see now? Just the golden arches. No McDonald's. There's no need to put McDonald's on there because we all know what that is. Have you all seen that new Doritos commercial?
Yes.
With the red bag and the blue bag?
Yes.
I know exactly what that blue bag tastes like. I don't need a logo on there. That's brilliant marketing, right? That's brilliant marketing. So self-concept is how you view yourself. Oh yeah, I'm awesome. I'm the best. I do everything right. Self-image is how you believe others view you. Ooh, she just shot me the shady eye. Something's going on. She doesn't like me. He doesn't like me. He doesn't like me because of whatever. Okay? So that's your self-image, how you think other people view you. Self-efficacy is your belief that you can actually do something. How many of you love math? How many of you hate math? I mean, if I was taught how to do math the way they do now, I would probably hate math myself. I love math. How many of you are in my 2301 class after this at 6:45 tonight? Yes, I love it. We're gonna do a whole bunch of math tonight. All right, so self-efficacy. If you just say I'm bad at math, I'm never gonna do it. Guess what? You're never going to do it. It sounds really simple, but at least having the mentality of tolerating math. Can someone tell me what time it is? Oh, never mind. It just pulled up. Now I got it. Okay. All of this has to do with your brand. Think about Nike. Nike self-concept. They want to be the best in athletic apparel. Their self-image. How do they view other people? How do other people view our product? Do they view it as quality? They view it as trash? They view it as valuable? Self-efficacy. We can be the premier product in athletic wear. And then the projection, you project that out, and that is all part of your brand. And you have a personal brand. I'm not going to watch this YouTube tonight. We'll watch it next week if we have time. But you can go in and you can copy and paste this into a window. Actually, you know what? I'll put it in Canvas as well so you can see it. It's all about personal brand, okay? So this is probably the thing that we're going to end. No, we got a couple more minutes. So what a pineapple license plate frame and a 26.2 magnet. What do those two things have in common? They both have numbers. Good. Do they seem like they have anything in common?
It's a brand.
Say that.
Something they've done or been to.
Okay, something they've done or been to. Good. So the pineapple is an international symbol for hospitality. I also wear bow ties. That's part of my signature. That's part of my brand. Okay. So pineapples. This is my Fiesta medal from 2018. One time I was having happy hour with my friend Shanna right here. This is the picture we took after we finished the Rock and Roll Marathon in 2017. So when I told her we were having happy hour and I was sitting there, I was like, hey, do you want to see my 2019 Fiesta medal? It looks so cool. And I'm looking for a picture and I was like, it celebrates my new car. And she said, is your new car silver? And I stopped and I was like, how did you know that? So I was walking in, I saw the 26.2 sticker. I looked down, I saw pineapples around the license plate, and I thought, did David get a new car? Two pieces of information. 26.2 is the distance of a full marathon, and the pineapples around my license plate. And she's like, oh, I think David got a new car. Or I wonder if David got a new car. That's how personal branding works. If you are not out expanding your brand, then people aren't going to know who you are. Yes, ma'am.
So you're saying people would know who you are even if before they can even see you.
Yes.
They can know who you are.
Absolutely.
Know who you are without seeing your face, knowing your brand, knowing your.
And it goes both ways. So people who don't know me are people that I will go out and meet people, and the hardest part is that self-efficacy, self-image, all that stuff, combining that and keeping it consistent. So is what you believe about yourself, is that true of what other people believe of you? That's kind of a challenge, right? Because you may come off as really cocky and like, whatever, my carrot cake is the best carrot cake in the world. Nobody can mess with my carrot cake.
But you gotta keep up that image.
But if people look at you and they're like, yeah, I don't even want to get to know that person. I don't even want to try that carrot cake because that person is not a nice, their attitude is awful, right? And so all of that comes into play. Now, does that mean you have to change yourself to make sure that other people see you the same way? Absolutely not. You have to be authentic. Okay? You have to be authentic. I have about 2 minutes, so I'm going to show a quick video.